Going to question 17, we always read the prompt first, and here the prompt is telling us that this is a grammar question. So let's go ahead and start reading. Gathering accurate data on water flow in the US is challenging because of the country's millions of miles of waterways and the fact that the volume and speed of water at any given location can vary drastically over time. So, what you should really pay attention to here is the idea of the comma followed by the fanboys conjunction. A fanboys conjunction, those are the stronger conjunctions that are used for special reasons. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. And when we talk about a comma fanboys, that's a reference to the idea that there are two ways to join two independent clauses. You can use a semicolon. You can say, John jumped, semicolon, he fell, or comma fanboys, John jumped, comma, and he fell. So in grammar, the idea of the comma fanboys is almost sacred because if you're seeing that, you should be looking for an independent clause on one side and also on the other side. And this, of course, excludes a list with multiple items, and the last one gets the word and. This is a whole separate thing, but if you're over here and you see the comma fanboys, you can easily just check. Was this part an independent clause? And was this part an independent clause? And that's not the case for either of these. The parts on the right and left cannot be their own sentences. So that leaves us with A and D. Now looking at A, we've got this kind of random comma here because if you're going to try A, then you've got no commas anywhere in the sentence except for after the word that. And it would be really random. Listen to how this sounds. Gathering accurate data on water flow in the US is challenging because of the country's millions of miles of waterways and the fact that the volume and speed of water at any given location can vary drastically over time. So sometimes if you're trying to determine whether a comma is wrong, you can kind of exaggerate that pause and see even how that feels. But as we said, because comma fanboys is reserved for something, the alternative to that is to just put the word and in between separate items. And sometimes, if you have a lot of words involved, it looks weird to just put and there. And that's kind of the challenge of this question. But it is indeed the right answer. This is challenging because of the country's millions of miles of waterways and the fact that the volume and speed of water at any given location can vary drastically over time. And so that's correct. And the answer here is D.